If you have just jumped into the car, if you've just arrived home and you've walked in the door and you've switched on the wireless, tomorrow is D-Day, according to Winston Peters. The New Zealand First Leader put out a statement just over half an hour ago about the timing of his decision on whether he will form a government with National or Labour. Our political editor, Jane Patterson, joins us now from our Parliament office for I think it's the third time in the program tonight. Jane, you've been on. People are listening for the whole program. Welcome back. What can you tell us? For people who are just hearing this for the first time, what is Winston going to do tomorrow?
So after about a week and a half of intensive negotiations, Winston Peters says his party, New Zealand First, is going to be in a position to make the announcement about the result of the negotiations for the general election tomorrow afternoon. Now, we don't have a time for that exactly. I think he's probably kept it deliberately vague because, as I understand it, things are still moving around a little bit. And in particular, one crucial step that still needs to be taken, and it has not happened with Labour, it has not happened with National, and that is the ratification process. That on the National side, the board and the caucus have to get together and sign off a deal once they have it from New Zealand First. And for Labour, the 20-member Executive Council has to do that, and I understand that will not happen tonight. It's too late, so that still has to happen potentially tomorrow morning, presumably, and then looking forward to that announcement in the afternoon. We do not know yet what Winston Peters has told those two leaders in terms of the announcement, i.e. whether he will announce it to the public and them at the same time, but I think there would be an expectation, given the negotiations and the process that's been followed so far, that he would be talking to one or other of those leaders tomorrow morning to give them the nod about which way he intends to go.
So at the moment, the Nats and Labour still don't know whether it's them or not.
We're not clear about that. What I can say is that a deal has not been ratified by either Labour or National, so read into that what you will. But I think we can say that if no one has actually ratified it, they're still at that step beforehand. So what we can say is that there hadn't been a communication this afternoon, for example, to one party, and then they went off and ratified it. So that is what I'm saying, is that is where things are at as of 6 o'clock.
Yeah, what a fascinating period. The Greens. What are they doing while all of this is going on? Because they too obviously need to be part of a deal between New Zealand First and Labour, because that's how the Cuisinart rods of MMP work, right? To get them to the numbers they need. What are the Greens doing?
So they, like everybody else, have really been on standby. Now, it is a little bit more complicated on the Labour side because they've been brokering two deals quite independently, one with New Zealand First and one with the Greens. Now, that deal between Labour and the Greens has been completed, but what that means is that for their ratification process, which involves 150 national delegates from around the country convening for a special general meeting, and that will be done online and can be done pretty quickly, but the feeling was that they didn't want to hold that meeting with such a large number of people involved and ratify a deal between Labour and the Greens before the substantive process, potentially, if that's where New Zealand First goes, between New Zealand First and Labour, just with the risk that it would leak. So they are on standby as well. I understand that special general meeting hasn't happened either. So they are pretty much ready to go and hold that meeting, sign off on a deal, if that's the way, if they're given the word, and again, probably tomorrow.
Jane Patterson, our political editor. Thank you so much, Jane. We really do appreciate it. So, at the moment, all things being as Winston Peters' statement has said they will be, we will know tomorrow afternoon which way New Zealand First is going, and therefore who will be the next government of New Zealand and the next Prime Minister of New Zealand. Now, obviously, RNZ will have all of that live, and obviously Checkpoint will cover all of that at length tomorrow night. We do hope you will join us then. We don't obviously know what time the announcement is going to be yet, but the moment we do know, we will let you know.